Hi, everyone. I wanted to get back in touch here today. I know that many of you are looking for additional guidance in terms of what you should be doing in order to stay healthy, to boost your immunity, and if you were to contract this virus, what you could do for yourself, your family, and your loved ones. I do want you to know that I've recorded a few videos, one each week actually, on how to properly prepare, what I am doing with my family and in my private practice, myself, of course, as well. And that's at stephencabral.com/virus. So what I want to do with the Cabral concept is continue to have the podcast coming and continue to teach from many different aspects. But when it comes specifically to COVID-19 and the coronavirus, I want to share that with you in one place so that it's shareable and it's easy to find. And that is at stephencabral.com/virus. As always, please let me know how I can help, how I can be assistance. And the best way of doing that is to simply ask your question at cabralsupportgroup.com. My team and I are here for you without a doubt. Please let us know how we can help and head on over to stephencabral.com/virus for all additional information at this time.
Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here. Of course, as always, looking forward to our motivation and mindset topic of the week. And this week, we are discussing how to overcome daily pressure. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is that I've never talked about it specifically before, but also it's something that many of us deal with on a weekly basis, especially to start the week. But of course, many of us dealing with it on a daily basis as well. And the reason is that life always seems to have an unending twists and turn for us in order to overcome certain obstacles and challenges. And of course, that can happen with family, it can happen with kids, it can happen with relationships, your job, you name it. It seems that we are on this unending journey of essentially overcoming problems. Well, here's the thing. There's two ways to look at that, and that's how we're going to explore it today. The one way is that you're dealing with a mindset of pressure, always more to do, always more to overcome. And how I want to begin to think about this is from a more positive standpoint, but not just positivity for the sake of positivity. Actual action plans that you can implement where you feel so much better about your day, but also so much better about what you're accomplishing in life. So I've got 8 main points that I want to take you through today. I'll make sure that each one leaves you with an actual action step that you can take, that you can implement. And I hope that much of which I share with you on the Cabral concept is not time consuming, that doesn't take a lot to implement, and it enables you just day by day. I don't want everything to happen at once, just day by day as you accumulate the knowledge and you begin to take these small steps, that it does make a huge difference in your life. I mean, remember, these tiny hinges, as they say, right? Tiny hinges swing big doors. And what that means is that oftentimes you just have to implement small things, and small things done over time really begins to make a major difference in your life. So I look at it like this too. It always goes back to the mentality that if you're trying to lose weight and you're doing 2 hours of exercise a day or 2 workouts a day, and you're on a really calorie restrictive diet, that can work. Okay, it can work, but is it sustainable? Absolutely not. So you burn out, and you also have daily pressure to do 2 hours of exercise and eat so little food, and you're over-exercising, right? So now your body's starving, and now you're not even feeding it. Well, not sustainable. But what if we can give you tips that you can do on a daily basis that don't take a ton of time, and that day by day they begin to accumulate? And that accumulation is what enables you to do it for life and enjoy the results for life. So maybe you won't achieve it in the 21 days or 14 days or 7 days. That's nice as well. But here's the thing. You need to make sure that you have short-term and long-term plans and goals. So hopefully with these 8 points today, you're going to understand what you need to do, and some you're probably already doing right now. Well, okay, that's great. Now let's move on to those others, all right? So without further ado, let's dive into these 8 specific topics. And the first one is this. So everything is centered around how to overcome daily pressure. Now, I'm just one person. It's one person's opinion, and you can absolutely add whatever you'd like, okay? But what I do is this, and this is how I've helped in my own life. And keep in mind, I have pressure, just like you have pressure. I have 2 young daughters, and I want to see them excel in life, and I want them to grow up to be strong women. I've obviously a relationship with my wife. I have a relationship with my family, my parents, my friends. I run multiple health-based businesses, and we work with people all over the world, and I have over 40 people on my team. I mean, like, there's a lot of pressure, right? But I look at it differently, and the way that I'm able to look at it differently is simply based on what I'm going to share with you now. And I've talked about it before, and I can't recommend it enough, is that you have to have 3 anchors, okay, 3 anchors in your day. And so I would love you to go back, check out my previous podcast on anchoring, and you can simply go to stephencabral.com/podcast, use that little search box, and you'll be able to find that show. So the first anchor, though, is your morning routine. And the morning routine sets the tone for your day. Let me explain how it used to work, at least in my life. So I've always had to work pretty much early in the morning, and I had to go to class early in the morning for the most part in college. So what happened was I would sleep until the latest possible minute. And then I would, I'd really like frantically get up and just dive right into the day. And I would start the day with stress, and I would start the day with no plan, and I was far from centered. Well, all of that just led to greater and greater stress. And what happened, though, I found was that I was just playing catch up the rest of the day. What if I simply woke up 30 minutes earlier? I would have had 30 minutes to center myself. That 30 minutes could have been used for 10 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes to read, like whatever it might be. And so if you're not waking up with 30 minutes to yourself, wake up 30 minutes earlier. Honestly, it's so much more important. And even if you can't go to bed earlier, I really believe that as long as you're getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, waking up 30 minutes, you're not going to require as much sleep because you're going to be less stressed to start the day. And I mean, I definitely recommend journaling in the morning, listening to something motivating, doing 10 minutes of meditation, working on your breathing, like anything that centers you. And can't tell you exactly what that is because I don't know what it is that centers you. So meditation for me is a way of going back to my breath, which is really important for me because I'm someone that tends to tense up more. So I like to, relax. We're focused on that out breath. But really what gets me more centered than so I still do the meditation, but what gets me more centered is actually listening to something or reading something from someone that I really enjoy their philosophy. And I've given you many people before that love their philosophy, and Jim Rohn. I mean, so many people. I don't want to go through every single one, but there are many, many people out there. So what I'll do is I'll simply listen to 10 minutes of their motivation on a YouTube video or an MP3 that I have, or I will read. And oftentimes it's both, but I might not read until I get to work just to kind of center myself right there. So what I want you to do, though, is find out what centers you. And what does that even mean? Well, it means what slows you down, calms that resting heart rate, and enables you to just think more clearly. Meditation is typically that thing. But again, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to really get into a practice to allow it to sink in. So that's a big one. And I love also starting with, if you've ever read or heard about the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, you will have seen his personal journal. And he basically asked 2 questions for the day. I'll give you the first one now. I'll give you the second one at the end of the show. So the first question was this. This is his morning question before he started his day. What good shall I do this day? And I love that. What good shall I do this day? Because all of us have so much good inside of us that we are looking to then project that to the world. So what good can you do this day? In work, with your relationships, your spirituality, your health, your body transformation, like what good can you do today? What good shall you do today? Write it down. Think about it. Just think of one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. Think of one thing. All right. So that's the morning time to center yourself. Go for a walk, like whatever works for you. Okay. The second is this. Go back to your daily goal. Now, your daily goal has to go back to what I call the 12-week year. If you've never heard me talk about the 12-week year, please go back to those shows. StephenCabral.com/podcast. Listen to the 12-week year. Because it's basically taking, okay, what's my big 1, 2, or 3 goals for the year? Don't create more than that. Okay, you can have lots of goals, but don't create big goals that you need to accomplish in a year and then have a dozen of them. That's going to be pretty challenging, okay? So focus on 1, 2, or 3 and make those happen. Now, you break those yearly goals down into quarters, and then you focus on what needs to get done for the month in order for things to happen for the quarter, and then you focus on what needs to happen today in order to meet my weekly goals. Again, go back, check out the 12-week year episodes, check out the book, check out the journals I recommend. Pretty amazing stuff. So now we focus on, well, what do I need to do today? Now, the nice thing is this, and I'll talk about this in point number 4, but hopefully you already have your day planned, because you already know what it is that you need to accomplish over the next week, month, quarter, year. And when you do that, again, then that leads, like it automatically leads to achieving whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. Now, it doesn't help with the pressure. So that's why we're talking about pressure today, right? You can set goals, but you can be overwhelmed with pressure. Okay, so here's what we need to do is let's just focus on today. That's it. What are we trying to accomplish today? Not tomorrow. I know you've heard this before, but it's still the truth. Don't worry about tomorrow yet, okay? Tomorrow's not here. It's not here. We just need to focus on today, okay? It's kids' activities. It's helping parents out. It is whatever has to get done in your work, whatever it is. Focus on today. But have that plan, right? Have that plan. Now, number 3 goes along with this. Focus on needle movers, okay? Too many of us mistake action for actual results. So moving around and being busy all day, well, that only leads to more freneticness. And I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to go with it. Meaning that it's like pants on fire, house on fire all the time. And we don't want that, okay? We want to move through the day knowing that we are focused on the needle movers. And the needle movers, what that means is they're the things that actually push you forward in the day. So, and again, we'll build off of this too. But if you don't have those built into your day, then you're going to be doing a whole lot of nothing, right? Like you do a lot of stuff, but at no point does that actually bring you closer to your goals. So again, you're busy, you're taking action, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're never sitting still, but yet at the end of the year, at the end of last year, you didn't accomplish what you want. So I want this year to be different, but also I don't want you to be so frazzled in the process. And that's why we're trying to pin this down. Okay. Number 4 is this. You're going to get out your planner. Right? You are going to plan now, not just your day, but your week. Okay. So here are my goals. I know that I need to read for 5 hours a week, or that's the 5-hour rule, right? So we can start to look at that. And so that what we talked about on last Monday. If you didn't check out that show, that was episode 1501. You need to use, there was 3 different rules essentially I gave you on that show, and one of them was the 5-hour rule. So if we know that we need to put 5 hours into whatever it is that we're looking for, our body transformation, our knowledge, meaning like our growth in whatever it is that we want to do, whether it's for a certification or class or whatever it is, right? To just move you forward, right? Continue your mastery. Well, we need to plan out those 5 hours, whether it's 1 hour a day on the weekdays or whether it's 5 hours, like a half a day. Okay, we need to plan that out. So that's part of it as well. So let's look at the whole week, right? Because a lot of times we say, oh, you need to fit so much into a day. Well, yeah, maybe we do. But what about over the course of a week, which is 168 hours? And over the 168 hours, well, okay, well, now we've got a whole lot more time. What do we do with all that time per day? And again, I've done a show on the missing 6 hours per day, and I'd love you to listen to that one as well. Because, okay, let's say we're up for 16 hours. So we're in bed for 8, we're up for 16. Well, most of us are busy taking care of others or our job a lot of times for 10 hours a day. So that includes commute time, whatever it might be. Okay, so now we're left with 6 hours. What are we doing with those 6 hours? That's the missing 6 hours per day. And that's why I would love you to listen to that podcast as well, is because we have more time than we think. Believe me, I'm busy as well. I get it. Like, it doesn't even seem like I have an extra 6 hours. But what am I doing with the hours that are not necessarily as scheduled as the others? I could work something, and not for all 6 of those hours. I mean, I have to get ready in the morning and I have to wind down at night, right? But like for 4 of those hours, What's going on during 4 of those hours? Okay, maybe 1 hour is my middle of the day anchor, right? I talk about 3 anchors per day. Well, that's the one where I'm eating, I'm relaxing just for a bit before I turn it back on. Okay, now what about 3 hours? There's still 3 more hours. What am I doing with those 3 hours? Am I using it to move myself forward with exercise or learning, right? What am I doing with those? So trust me, we need to find those hours, because 3 hours over just, like, let's just say the weekdays, right? Because maybe it's family activities on the weekend. Okay, that's 15 hours a week. That is, if my math serves me correctly, about 60 hours per month. And if I multiply that by 12, well, I'm over 700 hours of work that I can do on me for the year. So that's how I really want to look at this. So again, how does that relieve pressure? Like, how does that bring us back to pressure? Well, now you don't need to get it all done in a day. We have 700 hours for the year. That doesn't mean put it off. It certainly does not mean procrastinate. But what it means is that you don't need to overwhelm yourself today, because we are able to plan these things out and allow them to accumulate over 700 hours for the year. And that's pretty fantastic. Again, last week on episode 1501, I talked about really accumulating your hours. Well, if we look at that, I mean, we're going to be able to achieve whatever we want within that given period of time, like within that period of time that we are looking to create mastery. So I love that one. And that's what calms me down. I say, listen, like, I know you want everything to happen yesterday. That's kind of my mindset, but here's what we need to do. All in good time. All in good time. And the way that we're able to make that happen to a faster degree, besides planning out not just our day, but our week, is something that I believe Seth Godin wrote the book. I apologize if I'm not correct on this, but it was a book called Eat That Frog. And Eat That Frog, all of his books are pretty small books. And what it basically said, let's just see. Eat That Frog was actually written by Brian Tracy. Okay, written by Brian Tracy and can be attributed back to at least Mark Twain. Okay, so at least hopefully I was able to give the correct acknowledgement to that who said it first. So what does Eat That Frog mean? Well, it means this, is that oftentimes we put off our hardest things that we need to do, that we know, though, would move us much faster and much closer to our goals. So let's say, for example, you have a list of 10 things that you need to do for the day or for the week, that if you did them, well, you're going to accomplish your goals that much faster. No doubt about it, right? No doubt about it. So, but that can be narrowed down. And what Brian Tracy talks about, I know for sure this is Brian Tracy because he also wrote a book called Goals. And he basically says, look at the whole list you have. Could be 10, could be 20 things. But there are going to be 2 things. And it's amazing, right? Because this goes back to the 80-20 rule, that 20% of what we do gets us 80% of the results. And by the way, there's a podcast on that as well. That's called Pareto's Principle, right? Pareto's Principle is amazing. So those 2 things, I call it 1A and 1B. Sometimes one is not more important than the other. There's a 1A and a 1B. And what we do is if we do those are going to drive 80% of our results. So they're going to move us to our goals way faster than the other 8 things on the list, or maybe 18 things on the list. So what we need to do is this. Willpower is a fleeting feeling. And I find my willpower is strongest before about, let's say 1 p.m., 2 p.m. After that, I actually schedule my day now knowing that my ability to be more creative, my ability to do interviews and podcasts and all those things, it's stronger the first half of the day. I'm fresher. And then after that, not as strong. So I know that if I want to get my thinking, my creative work done, it has to be earlier in the day. Now, the nice thing is this. If you tackle your 2 hardest things the earliest part of the day, you might not want to. But if you do that, you're going to feel so much better as well. Why? That big, hard thing that you were supposed to complete, you did it. You accomplished it. That in and of itself is an amazing feeling, like absolutely amazing. You didn't want to do it, but you did it anyway. You know what that does? It actually does develop a stronger character. It shows you, right? You're proving to you, hey, your mind's trying to talk you out of it. You did it anyway. Like a machine, literally a machine. You just did it. You said, forget about the feelings. Forget about me not wanting to do it. I'm going to do it. You know why? It's because I want what's on the other side of that. I don't want to do the thing itself. A lot of people don't like to exercise, but what they want is the health, the longevity, the anti-aging, and the body. Okay. So you do the exercise for that 30 minutes, not because you like it, not because you want to do it. Not everybody loves exercise. You do it anyways, and you do it first thing in the day, so now it's done. It's done. Now you got the benefits in all areas of your life. That's what eating the frog means. So love that. And again, this is going to make you mentally stronger in all areas of your life because, hey, if you're willing to do it, even when you don't want to, that's what separates you from the pack, right? The pack is not bad, right? The pack is not bad. Nothing wrong with the pack. But here's the problem. Most people aren't living the life that they want to live. And I want you to live that life. Now, for me, it took a long time, right? It took really working this process for a while. But then I realized that, hey, nobody can do the work except me. I'm the only one that can do the work for me. And also, I'm with me 168 hours of the week. Nobody else is with me 168 hours of the week. It has to be me. Now, again, that feels like a lot of pressure, right? So what did I do? I went back to the plan, right? I'm just working the plan. I take my mind out of the equation and I begin to work the plan. Another way that I work the plan, which is point number 6, is this. I don't wait until the morning to have a plan. I always plan the next day the night before. All I do is go back to my schedule, make sure it's planned out, make sure my meetings are updated, make sure my activities are updated. If I've got to pick up my 2 girls to take them to soccer practice, all right, that's already in my Tuesday schedule. There it is. If I have to get into the office early for a meeting, whatever it is, that's in there. If I have an interview on another person's podcast or video show, whatever it might be, okay, that's in there. Like everything is planned. Okay, my reading is in there is planned. Everything is planned. And you might say, well, that sounds kind of boring. Trust me, it's not. It is not at all. It's actually, wow, look at all the great things that I get to do. And I'm the one planning this, right? So I have control over my schedule. Feeling that control allows you actually to then relax. It's when you feel out of control or not in control or other people are dictating your entire life, well, that's when you feel pressure. That's when you feel overwhelmed and that's when you feel anxious. So I don't want that for you. I actually want you to feel in control. Now, again, we all have to do our work, whatever our job is. And again, we have all sorts of different jobs in life. But whatever it is, we have to take care of those responsibilities. But let's do them in a way where they're predictable, where we create a routine out of them. So always plan your next day, your meals, everything, your exercise, it's already planned. And then work the plan the next day. Listen, hey, and if there's no more time in the day, there's no more time in the day. So you have to be realistic. That's why if you plan your day, you don't have these lofty expectations. Well, I'm going to do 15 things today. Well, no, you're not going to do 15 things unless they're actually in your calendar. So it's super important to look at that as well. It's from a realistic standpoint because I try to be a realist as much as I can. I try to blend optimism with realism. Okay, the second question is this. As you are turning in for the day, I want you to look at Benjamin Franklin's second question of the day. So I like it even more than the first. So the first one was this: what good shall I do this day? Well, the second question is, as you're either journaling at night or you're planning out your next day, just answer the second question. The second question is this: what good have I done today? And what this does, it allows you to show yourself that it might have been a tough day, it might have been a challenging day, but here's what I was able to do. Here's the good I did for my fellow coworkers, for my family, for my community, church, etc. Like whatever you hold that has a lot of value in your life, were you able to give back a little bit today? Were you able to be of some type of service, again, to your family, your friends, whoever needs you, right? To your job. And it's an amazing thing to look at because you start to feel a little bit better. And that goes into point number 8, which is if today wasn't a good day, and trust me, we all have bad days, right? Some days are worse than others. And I've had some bad ones, but it is today, right? So if today was a bad day, we can sleep on it. And when we wake up, the nice thing is this: we do get a fresh start. Now, do some of those problems start to spill back into the next day? They may. Now, those are obstacles and those are challenges for you to overcome. But you don't take yesterday's pressure into today. You wake up with a new mindset. You start to get into your morning routine. You center yourself. You focus on your daily goals. You've already began to plan the entire week. You structure the day so that everything is in there that needs to be in there and nothing extraneous. You do your hardest things first, the things that are the big needle movers. And then you start to close out that day, giving gratitude. Maybe not everything didn't go your way. That's okay. There are days like that. And that's because sometimes we're trying new things. We're experimenting and it's not always going to work out. But here's the thing. You have to do that. That's part of the process. That's part of the growth. And the nice thing is, whenever I have a really bad day, whenever I have a really stressful day, I say, okay, I'm not going to deny that today was a stressful day. It was. It was actually pretty terrible. And I say that to my daughters as well. But tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a fresh day. And when you start to take that attitude, things do change. Because I honestly believe that you can be, do, and have anything you desire in life. You just have to understand that this is a game. And that in order to win this game, and I'm taking it lightly right now, but in order to really achieve the life that you want, and for me, it's not for me to tell you the life that you want. We all have different versions of what that is. But you have to enjoy the practice. You have to literally enjoy playing the game on a daily basis. So you have to say, hey, there's going to be some wins and losses. Some practices are better than others. Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit more down. Sometimes I'm a little sick. But either way, I'm putting in my practice. I'm putting in those 10,000 hours. I'm learning the growth-based process. And part of it is also just not taking everything so serious. And that is a pill that I need to swallow as well, because I can be intense sometimes and I can be very serious. But I start to have a little bit more of that playful side. And because this is like, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life, and I want you to do the same. And I'm going to accumulate some wins, and I'm going to have some losses as well. But what I don't want to do, and I don't want this for you either, is I just don't want there to be anything left on the table at the end of your life. Like, I want you to just have gone all in, that you played the game to the best of your ability, that you enjoyed it along the way, and that you've really achieved everything that you've wanted to, that you truly desired, and that you enjoyed the little moments along the way. Thank you so much for tuning into today's podcast. I truly appreciate you. And as always, if this podcast was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.